Hello friends, welcome to Unit 2 with Mujir. Simple present tense. Let's read some examples of simple present tense sentences. Those ones that we can make them by using a subject, verb, and sometimes an object, like I play tennis every weekend. She does gymnastics twice a week. We can make the questions by using do, does, or we can make it negative, for sure you know them, with do not, doesn't. So in simple present we use do or does in negatives or negative sentences or in questions. Like I don't often go jogging as a negative example. You don't go to school on Sundays. Another negative example, or yes/no questions. Do you usually train? Does he watch Olympic Games? You know that in simple present tense we use frequency adverbs too. It depends on what we want to say. The words like always, usually, often or frequently, sometimes, hardly ever, seldom, rarely, or never. They are called frequency adverbs. Let's look at some more simple present tense examples. Like the rugby team usually trains on Tuesdays. As you see, usually after the subject, before the main verb. Students often go camping in summer. Again, often as a frequency adverb after the subject, before the main verb. If we make a negative sentence, for sure you remember we make the negative sentence by using don't. For I don't. Then we use frequency adverb after don't. And then again before the main verb. I don't often do yoga with my friends. In this sentence, don't is an auxiliary verb to make the sentence negative. Do is the main verb. And in the question also, do you often play hockey? Again, we use frequency adverb before the main verb after the subject. We can make the questions with how often. How often do you climb? As an answer to how often, we can use frequency adverbs. You remember always, usually, sometimes, and so on. Or expressions of frequency that we use them at the end of the sentence, like once a week, twice a year, every day, 3 times a week, once a month. Some examples. She goes to a sports center twice a week. We use twice a week at the end of the sentence. Jane and I go swimming every day. Let's do an activity. Write the verbs in the third person regular as in the example. Third person for he, she, and it. For example, play, plays. Watch, watches. Eat, eats. Beat, beats. Dive, dives. Win, wins. Dance, dances. Climb, climbs. Support, supports. Do, does. Go, goes. Match the frequency adverbs with the symbols. For sure, you know, for simple, for the A one, the smile is in A, we use always. For B, we use, and for B, we are supposed to use the usually, and for C, we are supposed to use often. For D, we are supposed to use sometimes. For E, hardly ever. And for F, for E, we are supposed to use never. And for F, we are supposed to use hardly ever. Make sentences negative. For example, I play rugby. I don't play rugby. She hates cycling in the park. Negative form, she doesn't hate cycling in the park. We ride a bike at the weekend. We don't ride a bike at the weekend. They enjoy playing tennis. They don't enjoy playing tennis. Chin loves doing yoga in her free time. Chin doesn't love doing yoga in her free time. I go hiking every morning. I don't go hiking every morning. Janet usually eats healthy food. Janet doesn't usually eat healthy food. Mark plays football in a big team. Mark doesn't play football in a big team. Susie always supports her team. Susie doesn't always support her team. Write questions for the answers. Number 1. I never play hockey. How often do you play hockey? Never. I never play hockey. Yes, she does. She runs every morning. So it's a yes/no question. Does she like running? Yes, she does. She runs every morning. Another yes/no question. No, he doesn't. He doesn't go trekking. Does he go trekking? No, he doesn't. He doesn't go trekking. And here, I usually ride a bike to be healthy. To be healthy, which shows the purpose, reason. So we make the question by using why. Why do you ride a bike? I usually ride a bike to be healthy. Read the information, charts, and write the questions for each answer. What are the rules of handball? What kind of a sport is handball? How long does a handball match take? What is the history of handball? Interesting facts about handball. Fact number 1. What is the history of handball? The game arose in the northern areas of Europe, notably in Germany and Scandinavia, around the end of the 19th century. However, the contemporary game of handball was created in 1917 in Germany, and there happened many changes. The first international game for men was played in 1925, while the first ever international handball game for women was played in 1930. Number 2. What kind of a sport is handball? Handball, variously known as team handball, Olympic handball, European handball, and Bordenball, is a game played between 2 teams of 7 players. 6 players plus a goalie compete against one another. It is an indoor sport and it is very popular among all ages. What are the rules of handball? The 6 players pass the ball to one another and attempt to hurl it into the other team goal post. The side that scores the most goals is the winner. In a match, the average goal total is around 20 goals per game. However, there were games with as many as 30 goals in the past. How long does a handball match take? The play is divided into 2 30-minute halves. If the match is a draw, then overtime is given to the playing teams with a maximum of 25 minutes. If the scores are still level, a shootout is used to determine the winner of the game. Let's do an activity. Circle true or false for the statements above. Handball arose in Europe, notably in Germany and Scandinavia. It is true. The first international game for men was played in 1925. Still, it is true. There are 2 teams of 8 players in the game. For sure, it is false. It's an outdoor sport and it is popular among teenagers. Outdoor sport. No, it is false. The 6 players pass the ball to one another and attempt to hurl it. For sure it is true. The play is divided into 2 30-minute halves. It is also true.